And to put yourself in that discomfort, the start of your day, like you said, boom, you can handle all discomfort all damn day. Oh my God, ladies, I'm dragging.
This is you dragging?
Oh, girl, it is me dragging. I know. I have bounds of energy normally, but right now I'm
Where
like,
can I get your pre-caffeine energy? I would like that.
Well, because you've been kind of talking about on your stories that like you're going through a journey right now with like a functional medicine.
Yes.
How's that going?
Functional medicine. Yes, ma'am. I've done that. Yeah.
It's going okay. I'm doing this like 10-day hormone detox flush, and it's just like I haven't had coffee in like forever. Not forever. It's been like 5 days, but
I stopped on the way and I'm like,
can I get you a coffee? She's like, I'm not drinking coffee. I'm like,
is something wrong that I need to know about?
Life
like what's
is
going
wrong.
on?
My body is wrong.
oh my gosh. I can delve into that for a long time.
So you've gone through the functional medicine
yes,
process.
17 vials of blood, and then
Yes.
all the supplements that you have to take, and then all of the. But I've moved away from it a little bit.
Really? Why?
Only because these flushes, kind of the IV, the like Hello
Like the
Hydration that I've been using, I get that twice a month, but it's it's insane. It's such a commitment. It's like $550 a time.
Yeah,
All of these new, like the ozone type saunas, the infrared saunas, the hydrations. Like
I just bought a sauna for the house.
Oh my gosh. Like they all are awesome and I want to do them. And then all of a sudden you get in, it's like, oh, this one's $300. This one's $500. And like you want to go multiple times a month. And it's like, I can't afford that's too much.
I know. It's stupid.
So you just bought a sauna for your house?
Yeah,
the infrared sauna.
Yes, it is.
So
we should have been podcasting from the sauna.
Oh my gosh. I'm
that would be
serious.
kind of funny. Like zoom you in from the infrared
One of the ones that like
no, it's you walk into it.
It's a stand-up one?
It's like a room. Not this big, but it's maybe from like there to there.
So we haven't
set it up yet, but
really? Well, we had another guy on not too long ago that was, he's into all this. I feel like it's a huge trend right now. I mean, people are really starting to find alternative ways to get healthy. Correct. And, you're hearing about the infrared saunas, you're hearing about grounding, getting the negative ions out of your body and all this stuff. And so then on top of that, do you do like the shocking your body with extreme heat and extreme cold? Do you do that every morning?
I do not, but that's going to be my January 1st commitment.
So you have to gear up.
I am
January 1.
Because for me, it's kind of that long term. Okay, what am I going to do to kind of elevate it a little bit more? I've been so disciplined as far as this particular regimen, but I need to
do so. That's really the next thing. So it's the breathing. It's the breathing. I went to this really great. It was a business seminar, but they incorporated health into it and some other things. And that was one of the things that he was talking about. He's like, okay, we're all going to get up and do our breath exercises. And then you're going to do a 20-minute, muscle workout to get your muscles activated. And then you're going to jump in an ice bath. So I was all geared up. I said, I'm going to do this. I can't wait. I'm going to go get my ice, dump it in no bathtub in my hotel room. B, when I get in there, the cold water didn't work. So I was like, I guess it's not meant to be.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
This. I tried. But you're in the moment when you're all geared up to go do it.
And how long do you do your cold plunges for?
Not long.
Okay.
It's like a good minute and a half.
I feel like that's
a long time when you're in the cold.
I mean, I've known some people who are like, I do 5 minutes. And I'm like, hell no, I'm so.
Well, what's Wim Hof? He's like up to 2 hours at this point.
And I don't have 5 minutes to spare.
Yeah, no.
So your January 1 goal, you're going to start doing
cold plunges every day.
So are you going to get a trough? Or are you going to get like a...
Eventually, we're renovating our whole home. And so I want one next to where our jacuzzi will be by the pool. But the 1st of January, our pool is freezing.
Yeah, you can just cold plunge right there.
We have I have a nice sized tub, but it's just going to be a whole thing in the morning.
I know.
Yeah.
Like getting up but I do love what they say when you set your intention that's what you're going to do.
Right. Amen.
Everything else that you encounter for the rest of the day cannot be as bad as jumping into a freezing cold pool in the morning. So I can see how that absolutely helps set the rest of the day.
And like when you think about it, like we were saying, like a minute and a half, like that seems long, but in the it's really not that long.
No, it's not.
But when you're in it.
And to put yourself in that discomfort, the start of your day, like you said, boom.
Yeah.
You can handle all discomfort all damn day.
Well, I like that mindset and that how you frame that, because I think that's so important. And I don't think people think about it like that.
I
they
love
don't.
discomfort.
Well, no, it's good though, because the people who are comfortable being uncomfortable are the survivors.
That's right.
And I'm assuming though that this mindset has probably been with you for your entire life.
From birth.
From birth.
I'm like, it is what it is. But yeah, it's insane. Oh, I have a good story to share on the show later. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also guessing. So, we are here with the CEO and founder of ZUBI'S.
Oh,
awesome product. And I loved it. I mean, did it start in Dallas? You consider it a Dallas company?
I certainly do, because I got my start at the Dallas Farmers Market.
I love that.
Yeah. And I started selling it out of my car.
My gosh.
Oh, yes. It was a...
Tell us the story. Like what? Yes. I want to hear about this.
Okay. So I'll try and boil it down real quickly.
Whatever you want.
No, I'm passionate about health, about food. I had some work done. Well, I was at the YMCA for a period of time doing development, trying to build the rice school, doing the capital formation work for that, all the fundraising. But after that, I thought, I need to do more in the health space. It's my passion. My parents felt health is failing. I'm adopted. So they were in their mid 40s whenever they adopted me. But in seeing my mother's Parkinson's get worse and worse, I started looking at degenerative diseases, the best way to kind of combat all of these horrible diseases and onset of type 2 diabetes, what have you, early. So then I thought, okay, well, if I can start creating products or food that, one, passes a litmus test of my parents back home, and just swaps out Latin staples at the table, highly plant-based vegetables, not the cholesterol that you're exposed to, and dairy. I have dairy intolerance slightly. I love cheese. But so those were kind of the inspirations for me starting it. But of course, first and foremost, it had to be delicious. So I started with
because
the
your
salsa.
parents,
Yes.
What were they eating prior to that you're like,
it's lard-based frijoles, like the beans.
It is stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it is. The real deal. Darn good, but it's still... So there was a sour cream, creamy jalapeno base sauce, basically, that we always loved and enjoyed. So I launched my creamy jalapeno dip and sauce. And also, the original was my mom's salsa, which, I started selling at the farmer's market, then the crema de jalapeno, then the queso. And they're all top 8 allergen free, plant-based, and anyone can eat them. People who have nut allergies. So there's no dairy, no soy, no gluten, no, all of the top 8 allergens, totally free of them.
Wow, just deliciousness.
Yes. And so it's good for you. It's delicious. It's my passion.
What makes it so different than the other salsas that you can go and get on the shelf?
Great question. So if you're looking at the red salsa itself, just that original one, there's a higher percentage of the better for you ingredients, higher cilantro, the cumin, the cayenne. Those things are really going to help to flush out toxins, what we were just talking about before the show. And in doing that, it really jumpstarts your digestive system, all that beautiful stuff, where a lot of people, it's really watered down. It's the cheaper ingredients, and so the price point is a tad bit higher, but it's
worth it.
Good for you. And then as far as the crema and the queso, most plant-based products are nut-based. And for me, it was a really kind of the weeding out of nuts. So we have quinoa in the products to help it stick together better. I have absolutely no junk, no additives, none of that stuff in my products.
So quinoa gets creamy? That's
when it's emulsified. So when you have to place it under high heat, blend it under a really high heat blender.
Were you just playing with different? How long does it take you to figure that out? How many test recipes and
a lot of test recipes? But I'm very, very left brain. I love quantitative analysis and things of that sort. So it didn't seem like research.
Yeah,
it was just more. All right, this is intuitively what you can do to, bind something because of its composition. And so I guess I had a lot of that baseline knowledge that was really helpful, but I don't know. I love it.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So when did y'all launch the cream line? The crema?
The crema and the queso. That was in 2018 and 2019.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I launched into retail stores in 2017.
So you're selling out of the back of your car the salsa first?
Well, no, whenever the twins were born. So I left Finette's. I was, working at a proprietary mutual fund, vice president of investments, development, all this stuff. And so from there, I told everyone, listen, I'm leaving when the twins are born. I couldn't really stay at home. And I thought, okay. I mean, I did I gave it a good 4 to 6 months. But at the time, their dad, Lou, he would come home and then I'd go to some 1-hour kitchen in Garland, make everything, sell it at the farmer's market, sell it out of the trunk of my car to a whole bunch of mom friends at the North Dallas Early Childhood PTA. And so it just started growing and growing and growing and growing. And it was...
Yeah, I love that. Because I love did you grow up in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
El Paso. And Juarez. So, but it was, both, the border.
I love that because I'm like, that's the American dream. Mm-hmm. And I keep wondering these days, I mean, because we still hear success stories from entrepreneurs of people that are, you know, selling out of the back of their car and grow these big companies. But like, do you feel like the American dream is still alive and attainable?
God, yes. And I wish more people would tell those stories. Monty, my husband, he's, this kind of highly successful man. And I told him, listen, I come from really humble beginnings. I've worked to amass a lot on my own, but, mind you, my background is very humble. So like I told you, I was given it for adoption at birth because my birth mom could not afford to keep me. So she gave me up for adoption. And then she went back to my siblings who were in Mexico. They eventually became citizens, moved to the US. I mean, they grew up in poverty. Mm-hmm. I mean, tough. So she's the only one of her siblings. My birth mom came over, she's an entrepreneur, she's a barber, just all this fun stuff. But my siblings had to, put themselves through college. Now you would never know that they were raised the way they were. If you were to meet them today, you would say, all right, they're all from the same upbringing. Yeah, in many respects, because like my brother is an example. He was the first executive vice president, National Oil of Arco, to be as young as he was. He put himself through the University of Houston while working 40 to 50 hours a week. I mean, it's like we grind. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I met my birth family when I was 19. So I didn't know but when I met them, I was like, oh my God, we're all these like very intense, over the top people. But it's heck yes. When you have that fire in your belly, it can do so much. Yeah. Which is why Monty's like, oh my God, you guys are the American dream.
And
that's amazing.
And you're right. Like we do need to hear more of those stories because we don't. And I'm just like, why? Why are these not the stories that we're telling? Why does it always have to be that everyone's a victim? Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a handout. And we all know that government handouts don't actually
work.
Make you successful or wealthy.
Correct.
They keep you dependent on somebody else. And so...
Yeah, but if they share the stories of the American dream of people actually waking up and deciding that they want to make their life better and do something better for their family, that means that those people are thinking on their own and are no longer going to need the government to help them. And they don't want to share those stories because stories like yours and all the other people out there who are trying to make a better life, I mean, that's inspiring. That's what people want to hear. That's what people need to hear. But keeping that information quiet doesn't do any good for the narrative of making.
Well, we say that with this show, right? But we say the same thing because we're like, look, why are there so many shows like Dateline? Like, why does every show and news story end with "and they died"? And they died. They don't give you. They don't want you to hear the stories of women protecting themselves or fighting off the predator. Like they don't want you to feel empowered. They want you to feel empowered the way they want you to feel empowered, but they don't want you to feel empowered because then that's going to cancel all their shows. If every woman fought off and carried a self-defense tool and we didn't have any more Dateline, then it's taking away from their
That's
their
also
money.
why they're the big tech companies are also bought and paid and whatever by different government agencies are censoring so much on social too, is because social gives everyone the opportunity to share those stories, to talk freely, as much as they'll allow it,
as free as possible,
about what they've done and where they're growing and what they're doing. And that, I think that's one of the better things that has occurred through social media, is that these stories can be shared, because there's so many. There's been, I'm sure you guys, like, books that I've learned about that I never even knew about because I've randomly, was following somebody on social media, and I'm like, oh, this is a great story about XYZ that I want to learn about. And it's just like, wow, I would have never have found out about this person.
Correct.
And it just can change your mindset and put your path and your life in a whole nother direction. I think it's important that that's why we shows like ours and, women need to be out there like sharing and always talking about this stuff.
Well, you guys you've done something about this too with your own media outlet.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, Dallas Express.
Yes.
Yeah. We launched it on my birthday a year and a half ago. And yes, so we founded it. Monty's the publisher.
What led you to want
oh my gosh. It was actually the constant complaining that occurred between us. I think, and all of our friends just, my gosh, why is there no news available that truly is balanced? Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives you opinions from the left, opinions from the right, in fact presented fashion. No anonymous sources is the most important piece, in my opinion, because, journalism is so in flux these days, whether people want to admit it or not. But it's difficult because with anonymous sources, I'm not one to say that someone has integrity or not, but to make sure that is eliminated, right? That one variable piece. All right. They have to have integrity because it's tied to the source. Yep. So it is fact-based. And of course, we have opinions from Democratic leaders, from Republican leaders, but it still gives people balance.
And what's the response been like?
It's incredible. We now have more subscribers than the Dallas Morning News.
Wow. Is it in print?
No.
Okay.
Nope. It is not in print. It is only DallasExpress.com, and it's free. So it's a nonprofit. And yeah, it's super special.
So
it's
go
so
subscribe.
Near and dear to my heart. Yeah. Please subscribe. It's free. And
that's
in
awesome.
your inbox every morning. And we cover things that other news outlets won't cover.
Is it just local?
Like it is.
News stories local?
No. Okay. There are some national, somewhat global influences there, but it's primarily Dallas based.
Love it. I mean, that's amazing. And then I also wanted to hit on something really quick that you were saying too about, so you grew up in Juarez and El Paso.
Yeah, primarily El Paso. Yeah.
So people kind of have this idea of Juarez as being like a really dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It is.
It is. But here's the thing. When I was being raised there, oh my God, it was beautiful. I might even shed a tear. I'm serious, because it was so special. You could cross the border and feel at home there. I grew up at my friends' homes there, at, my dad's workplaces there, at, partying there.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it was an incredible experience. The food, it's Mexico.
Yeah.
But then, in high school, a bunch of women started disappearing. The cartel they just ran amok and started destroying businesses and people's lives. The Campestre, which was kind of an older, what is it called? Like a country club area. That was totally decimated. So all of these lovely places were just crushed by all of the disgusting corruption. And so it quickly changed. And now I shared actually an article on one of my stories the other day from Dallas Express that talks about Mexico increasingly becoming just more and more violent. El Paso is one of the safest cities in the country.
But I did not know
Juarez, that. Yes, but Juarez is one of the most dangerous cities now in the world.
And did anything ever happen there that got you starting to think about your own personal safety and taking that into your own hands?
Yeah. So
what happened?
I was actually jumped, and whatever, you kind of, I don't know, I guess expect it. But yeah, my friend Bridget and I were leaving this club that we frequented, La Cerata, and it was just such a fun place for all of us. And lo and behold, yep, we were jumped.
How old were you?
Probably not old enough to be going into lessons. Whatever. So yeah, I was young enough, but still. So she ran. I told her, run. I just told her run because I thought, okay, I can run fast. So I certainly got a few debilitating punches in, ripped off one of my heels, used that as kind of a knife.
Improvised weapon.
Yeah, I guess. And so, but then at that point, I hightailed it. I mean, I sprinted so quickly. And then there were some cholas, some like gang related stuff. Yeah. But it was never El Paso. One was right across the border and the other was right outside of this club. And so, yeah. There's certainly dangerous circumstances that I was exposed to.
So after that,
age,
what did your mindset change? Did anything change within you that were like, oh, I need to do something about my safety? Or is that just because you were on Juarez, you're like, well, this is just kind of...
It didn't. I've always been very aware of my circumstances and surroundings. But I knew that I needed more than just my own hands. And, and now, thank goodness, and being trained and keeping the training ongoing and just self-defense without weaponry, I know that I can take care of myself. But as far as having a weapon, yes, absolutely. And before, actually, this is crazy. Before I knew my birth mom, she, in coming to the United States, working multiple jobs to keep food on the table, she was working at Circle K. And I guess someone came in to rob the place. She fought him off. She had a gun. She chased the man out of there. I mean, the woman is tough as nails. And she's tiny, a little lady, but I don't know. So
that obviously got passed down.
Well, exactly. I guess that the fighter in me was always there. So yeah, of course, that was just more common sense.
I keep thinking that, though. I keep thinking if more people, I know when you fight back, obviously there's a greater risk that something might happen to you, which is why I understand why people don't do it. But I'm like, I feel like these criminals, that there's crime is on the rise across the country in general. And they almost instinctively know that no one's going to do anything about it.
That's right.
They don't think anyone's going to fight back. They're just like, I'm not even going to go to jail. I'm just going to take whatever I want and leave this place. And I'm like, guys, if more people fought back, we say that same with women. If more women fought back and had self-defense tools, I really believe that we would see less of this happen. But also we know that it typically happens in places where women don't have the same access to certain types of tools than other women do. I mean, it happens here in Dallas. We have constitutional carry. People know a lot of women carry their firearms now, and I think more and more are. And it still happens here too, but you definitely see it on the rise too in states where women don't have the same access to even certain types of pepper spray or pepper gel. Or
yes, I walk around with mine everywhere. But you're right. And what's so tough is that, I mean, I've always had higher levels of testosterone, which is really difficult in my hormonal, pregnancy world. But anyways, so I know that most of my girlfriends are they're not like me in that respect, where they're not just born fighters, if you will. And I would never go looking for trouble, ever. I am such a lover and a peacemaker, but I'm like, just don't corner me and we'll be okay. But so I really try and encourage my girlfriends to just know that these statistics are changing, but unfortunately, socially, there's such a stigma surrounding guns. And I tell people, I'm like, look at Russia. Guns are disallowed. It is illegal. And look at the crime. It is higher. There are more deaths because of non-gun related murders and harm. And it's very easy to make a bomb.
Right.
Come on. I mean, anyone can make a bomb out of just household products.
Criminals don't need guns. They're going to use whatever they can.
And that's what I try and tell people. There are dangerous people everywhere. And if we lived in a utopian society, sure, gun control might be nice, whatever, but we don't. there will be governmental overreach. There will be loss of our rights, ability to protect ourselves. And so then I start spiraling thinking all of my girlfriends who are, even guy friends who are, could be placed in a who are victims, who are targets. It just renders them helpless. Yeah. And for that reason alone, I wish to God that stigma would not be spread so rapidly and voraciously across all of the outlets.
Well, that's what it takes, though.
I know.
It takes the normal, rational thinkers to continue. I think the most important communication is the one-on-one conversations that you have with your friends. I mean, we're trying to do our part here with the show and get the message out, but I'm like, until your friends see you, this normal, beautiful, strong, entrepreneurial woman who, like, the gun doesn't define you by any means. Right. It's not the only thing about your life, but guess what? You will take care of yourself. Totally. It's having those conversations and being that person that they can go to talk about these kind of things. And
because I think those conversations aren't, we know that those conversations among women aren't happening enough, because even like we've heard through social media and things like that.
Yeah, it's horrible to think of one of my friends or my family. Oh,
it's something happening to them.
It's awful.
Yeah. But women don't traditionally go and grab a drink or go and grab coffee and talk about guns and self-protection.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It's not something that we don't usually talk about it until something does happen.
There's
to
something,
them.
Something there happens to them.
That's right.
A friend, or there's something in the news and you start talking about it. But even then, I feel like sometimes if there's something that in the news that triggers a conversation, depending on those women, if the women have never even talked about personal protection, they're just kind of talking about, the victim and how awful that was. And then they talk about, they had a gun. They shouldn't have had a gun. It's never then. Yeah. It's going back to kind of like the Dateline. Well, this is what happened. Then they died.
Well, what happened on The View? On The View, they sat and talked for an entire segment about how Elijah shouldn't have had a gun.
I know.
To stop the mass shooter at the mall, instead of talking about the criminal that brought the AR-15 in there. So it's like you start to feel like you're the villain for being the hero. Yeah. And, you shared a really interesting story with me at the MCBA luncheon. Yes. Do you mind sharing that with our audience?
No, not
and
at
then
all.
Have you told your women friends this story? And does that start any conversations?
It does.
Okay, so tell us what happened.
It does. Okay, so we have a ranch in East Texas, and we go there almost every weekend. So the twins and I were leaving Dallas. We were in horrible traffic because after carpool, it was a lot. So we were heading east on 175. We had to make a bathroom stop. It was like 911 bathroom. So we exited in South Dallas, and I thought, oh my gosh, the YMCA in South Dallas. My old friend Rodrigo Ross, she used to be the branch manager there, and I've always felt safe in a YMCA. Just there, it's such a special place. And I thought, all right, I might be going into ghetto territory, but unsafe territory. But we went, and
was it daytime or nighttime?
It was daytime.
Okay,
and this is totally my fault, and I feel just so ridiculous for not catching it earlier. I needed gas. I needed gasoline, and I thought, oh my God, I've been running around like a crazy fool, and I haven't filled up with gas. That's all right. There's got to be a place near here. So I asked this lovely security lady at the Y, and I said, hey, can you please point me to the closest gas station? Yes. Oh gosh, honey, let me drive you over there. And I said, no, I'm fine. Just tell me where it is. No, I'm going to drive you. You don't need to be going over there by yourself. And I said, really? I think we're okay. Anyway, so she winds up, I follow her, and she leaves the Y. We go to this gas station. The twins are in the back. They're kind of doing their homework on their tablets, reading. And so we pull up in this gas station. This is right around COVID. So they're all having to wear masks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this guy comes out of the gas station. So there's basically two men, one guy walking out of the gas station and another one who was filling up in his car. And he makes a phone call, and he's talking about the car, the Escalade. I drive an Escalade. You can hear him. I can hear him. My windows are rolled up, and I thought, okay, he's not even trying to hide the fact that he's making a call about my Escalade. Then I see this guy walking out, and immediately I thought, okay, this call is about me and they're right here. This man over here, huge dude, just big old guy. The one that walks out, he has like wild dreads, a mask that covers like a lot more than what a COVID mask would. Yeah. And I just thought, oh my God, it's kind of one of those gators. And so, anyway, so she said, stay in the car.
The security
lady. Okay. And she was like, honey, this is my home. I got it. And I said, well, I got it too. So then immediately I open my glove box. I take out my 45 and it's sitting kind of right on my console. And, I hand her whatever cash. She goes in for me. If I didn't have her, I would have just risked stalling on the highway. Mm-hmm. So she goes in and the twins are in the back and they said, Mommy, what's going on? Then this guy starts walking up to the car and he's like, you have an oil leak. You have an oil leak, ma'am. You got to get out of the car. And so I was like, here we go. So she's inside paying. This man's over here talking about an oil leak. And I said, step away from the car. But of course I'm speaking a little loudly. Yeah. And I said, kids, bend down, put your head between your knees. Because I thought if he, for whatever reason, tries to open any of these doors, breaks the glass, I don't want my kids' faces getting, I was just,
Yeah.
So I was like, just cover up.
Smart.
And so
quick thinking.
Oh God. So, they're back there like this, Mommy. And I said, stop talking. I need to focus. I love you. Stop talking. We're going to be safe. And so at this point, so he's right over here. Then he kind of walks over to the passenger window. He's peering in and then he starts like knocking. You got to get out. So finally I was just like, back up from the car. Back up.
Yeah.
And so you have your hand on your gun at this point.
Oh yeah. At this point, my hand's on my gun. Safety's off. And I was like, just don't.
Yeah. I don't want to do this.
Oh yeah. Cause immediately he could have broken the glass, tried to pull a gun on me.
Sure.
So I'm like, And yeah, so he's kind of talking, whatever. Then he's like, oh, whoa. So then he walks over to his buddy. And there was this long line inside. And at that point I thought, oh my God, I need like $10 of gas. Just get just something in so I can get out. So she comes out, she starts pumping the gas at this time. He walks back from his friend and the friend kind of comes up on the driver's side and he starts casing the car. So at this point, I'm literally like this and it's super tinted in the back. So he can't see that I'm, kind of following him along like this. Cause I'm like, don't try me. So, at that point, his friend sees me and he's like, get out. Because I guess he saw me like doing this. And so the guy backs up really quickly. And at that point, I kind of shouted through the car. I said, I'm driving off. And she's like, go. So I shoved the car. I don't even know if the gas cap was, but it was because I just told her $5, $10, just get me out of here.
Yeah.
And so I go speeding off. The larger guy gets in the car, starts chasing me.
Stop it.
I swear.
You didn't tell me this part.
Yes. Starts chasing. So then at this point, I'm like, my car can take some, like a little bit more curbage.
Yeah.
So at this point, I kind of go over the median. But I was like, why is he chasing me?
Yeah.
Well, what is he going to do?
Right.
I'm clearly packing.
Right.
So I'm like, but I had some expletives in there whenever I was talking to that guy. I was like, just don't effing try me.
Yeah.
I am not the woman.
Yeah.
And, I kind of had the death stare in my eyes and
Mama
that's when he
Bear
was like,
came
whoa. I thought to myself, oh my God. And no.
Did having that gun give you more confidence to address them in that way? Because, I think about this all the time. I'm like, even though we don't want to use our firearm, if we don't want to.
That is last resort.
But it helps you portray another level of confidence to me that says, I mean business and you better get away from here.
They don't expect women to be carrying guns.
Correct.
They look at women as being easy targets.
And I'm short.
So they don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
They don't expect it. So when they see it, they're a lot more taken aback by that. But what would you have done if you didn't have a gun?
Have you thought through that? Have you thought through that?
Of course I have.
And where does your mind go?
I would have just put it in drive and, like I said, stalled.
Yeah.
But the only reason I thought maybe they were following me because they thought I was going to stall or something, or the guy was following me, not both of them. But that was the only reason that made any sense. But then again, these people don't really think clearly.
So how long did he follow you
not
for?
Long. 2 minutes.
And then just went on his way.
Yeah. But again, he didn't hop the median. He was in a smaller car. And so, at that point I was like, and my husband was so furious.
I was about to say, how did Monty react when
my
it's going to go back down there?
I got to the house. I didn't call him on the way to the house. I was like, this is a story to tell him in person. And so, he was like, why did you not call me when you had gone to the bathroom? Why? I would have. And I said, what could you have done?
What are you do?
Like brought me a gas tank. And you know what he said? He was like, I would have had someone come out with gas and put it in your car. And I was like, oh, of course I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can only think about so many scenarios here, Sarah, to get through all of that.
How were your kids after that situation? Just like when you finally are taking off and this guy's following you, what's their demeanor? Are they panicked? Or?
So this brings, this kind of, I'm a very emotional woman. And so they asked me, they said, would you have shot him? And I said, yes, without hesitation. And they were like, why, Mommy? And I said, because he was there to do bad things. If I was alone, it might have been different, but with you all, my most precious, valuable, earthly things, babies.
I know.
And then they said, but Mommy, that's killing. And I said, that's self-defense. And I said, we have to be able to defend ourselves. And I said, and it is my fault for putting you in that situation, for filling up at this. Yeah, it was tough.
But what an impactful conversation to have with your children that I don't think enough parents are having with their kids.
That's right.
If we don't frame the conversation, someone's going to do it for us. And we know who the majority of those people are. We know that they're going to get our children in victim mentality. They are going to make our children be potentially harmed because of the mentality that they put them in. And, I don't shy away from these conversations with my children. I show them now when I go running and I take it out. My son, he's 2.5. He looks and like, that is Mommy's self-defense tool to protect you, Eleanor, and myself.
That's right.
And I'm like, that's what I have to keep telling them every single day. Self-defense tool. Self-defense tool.
That's right.
And because I need that in your yes.
You respect it. Mm-hmm. My kids are never to touch a gun.
Yep.
Unless I am there guiding them, teaching them.
Yep.
I mean, they know. They have a lot of respect for these weapons, but unfortunately, the bad people just don't. And had that been that school that my kids were in, or, it might not even been my kids. Like if it was one of my friends' kids, I may have gotten myself into that building and defended let me tell you, and it wouldn't have just been with a pistol.
I know.
I'm not joking. I would have broken a window, gotten in there, and I don't care if I would have died.
Mm-hmm.
I would have gone down, and I bet I'm a better aim than he is. I have better aim than he does. So I'm like,
that whole scenario. I mean, we always say we could do an entire episode on that.
Going back to kind of leading into the story, we were talking about the conversations with women. So when you've shared this story with your girlfriends, there's been their reaction? Are you seeing that maybe it's kind of changing their mind or getting them to think about their personal safety?
Momentarily.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh my God, I need to do that. It's something
that
I need to do.
100%
and it's
correct.
that momentary shock, that situational view, that live painted view. But as you know, it fades.
Mm-hmm.
So and then again, so many of my girlfriends are anti-gun, pro-gun control. I mean, and for me, I don't care. That's their opinion, but I will just say, oh my God, but what about in this situation? What about in that situation?
And what do they say?
Help me understand how that very simple solution of more control is going to change the statistics that I have researched. And whenever I start talking in terms of statistics,
Right.
It's hard to combat that unless, for whatever reason they have something that but it's momentary and it's not lasting. And it's our culture, which is, one person cannot counteract all of that misinformation.
But you can we can make a difference.
I think it's one of us.
Continuing to share stories, continuing to talk about it, because I think we hear it all the time. Amy, everyone's like, oh yeah, I really need to start caring. Like how many times we're hanging out with some of our, like, I really need to start caring.
Every time I have a group of friends, it's our tribe, and every dinner that we get together, what do you think they ask me? Can we put together a gun course, a gun weekend? And I'm like, yes, we'll do it. But then do you think they remind me and follow up again until like the next 6 months when I see that, oh yeah, we really need to do that gun training. And I'm like, maybe this is me dropping the ball because I just need to put it together and I just need to do it for them, because I think until they go out, get their hands on a firearm, get confident with it, they're never going to think about this the way.
Practice to be comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It can't just be a one-time thing. And it's so easy for me because I'm at the ranch to walk to our shooting range.
You have a gun range on your ranch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Amazing.
And that's what I was about to offer. If for whatever reason you want to host it at my ranch,
I love it.
Come on. That's super easy.
We got it. Well, see, okay. Women love to do this stuff as a social event.
Yes.
I don't feel like, guys are like, let's go get tactical training.
Correct.
And a girl's like, if you tell them we're going to go get tactical training, you think any of them are going to show up and do that? No. But if we're like, let's have a social event around it. Or we're going to shoot some guns and learn training.
Let's do some Let's have this event, a cocktail afterwards, but you can even call it a family defense event. A family defense event.
I'm like, we can do this. Like we can. And this is how we combat it, and we go and we just do it on the ground level. And we're boots on the ground, like take action kind of people. And let's just go. We just need to go and get this done. Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh my gosh, of course.
And I'm so glad that you don't shy away from it. And I am so thankful that a woman that is in your position, that is making such a difference in this community and across the country, is willing to share this story, because like you said, we understand the pushback. We get the pushback too from people, but we're going to keep sharing these stories because it's important. And it's a different perspective on firearms and firearm ownership that we think the message needs to get out there to more and more people. So thank you. Can you please tell our audience where to go and buy this amazing salsa? And I haven't tried the other dips in the queso yet. So I'm excited to give that.
I didn't know.
Are you in any restaurants?
No, but that's going to be changing.
Well, because my husband judges all of our Tex-Mex and Mexican food places on how is their chips and queso.
Seriously.
And, that's how we choose where we're going to go eat. I mean, we are chips and queso and salsa fiends in our, so if it's going to be in a restaurant, we got to go and check it out.
Absolutely.
So you got to let us know when that drops.
Yes. It'll be within the next year.
Awesome. So where can people find you and find Zubi's and on social media, and where can they buy your products?
Yes. So website's eatzubi.com. It's Eat Zubi, at Eat Zubi. But Amazon, if for whatever reason they're just wanting quick delivery to the door. I'm in Sprouts across the country. We're in Whole Foods. We're in Central Market locally. So there's...
Okay, so I can't get any out in your car, in the trunk of your car right now.
I need to start
selling it.
I need to start doing it again, just to give to people, because people will ask me, "Oh my God, I'd love to try that," and that would be, I probably need to start
have some
carrying it.
But is it does it have to be refrigerated?
No, it's in glass, and the way I fill it, So the process is able to keep
in your car when you run into people.
Shelf stable.
That's right. That's a staple item in every Texan's refrigerator and pantry. Like you have to have good salsa for everything, even vegetables. Like I love to put my celery in there and just eat. And sometimes I'll just spoonful of salsa.
Oh my gosh, I eat it for lunch sometimes.
It's
awesome. I'm like, okay, I know it's in here. I know it has good vegetables.
Well, I love it. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you. And you guys go follow. Yes, go follow Sarah on all. We're going to put this all in the show notes so you know where to get the salsas, where to get the food. And we just appreciate you coming on the show. We'll see you guys next week.
Not Your Average Gun Girl Show and its related companies, Alexo Athletica LLC and Stami Tactical LLC, shares information that may potentially have legal implications for its listeners. A reminder that laws vary for each state, and we encourage listeners to seek local legal advice to understand applicable laws. Any items, services, products, and advice mentioned during the Not Your Average Gun Girl Show should be used at your own discretion in accordance with your local and state laws, and you should follow applicable manufacturer's instructions. Not Your Average Gun Girls, Alexo Athletica LLC, and Stami Tactical LLC cannot be held liable for your actions based on the information shared.